I'm seeing the people who were telling us we've been wrong for the past, 2 years, just repeating the same shit I've been saying for those 2 years. And it makes me want to slap them in the face. Because what Liz just said there, it is so ingrained. It is something I've been fucking hammering for years. You can go back through my content and and it even doesn't do that well. My masculinity content does not do particularly well. And part of that is because we don't have the money to make it do well. All of these fucking Andrew Tates, all of those people are backed by multi-million-dollar fucking institutions and donors and investors. We don't have that on the left. We have a disparate, just random individuals who have built their own audiences. And so it's much more difficult to organize that sort of momentum. It's difficult for our views on masculinity to naturally break into the algorithm without some sort of organization and financial backing to get them there. And that's tough. And it really hurts me to see like mainstream people being like, oh, we missed the buck on the reaching these Gen Z boys. And when it's like, this has been so clear and fucking obvious since we were in fucking lockdown. Like it has been even before that. And it saddens me at one side where it's like, yeah, being a leftist is just being right too early and everyone getting mad at you for it. Like we hear this all time and time and time again, but at least they're realizing we were right now. Like I hate that it took this, but at least they're at least kind of realizing it. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what is, and that's the thing. I'm kind of ranting here, but every time a party loses an election, and I've said this on the show before, they're like, "Oh, the party's over. What do they do now? How do they recover?" And you know what? They always fucking do. But we need to make sure we recover in the right way, because we did not recover in the right way from 2016. We got lucky with the fucking pandemic, an increasing voter turnout because of it, and Trump just being the president and pissing people off. But we didn't get lucky this time. And you know what? It fucking bit us in the ass once again, because the 2016 campaign strategy is exactly what we've been running for the past 8 years.
Yep.
And it didn't work in 2016, and it definitely doesn't fucking work in 2024.
Yeah, and with what Liz was saying about the young boys and everything, we were talking about how to reach them and target them and everything in the messaging. It kind of reminds me of like what I talk about with reaching white voters. Is that so? I want to make it very. Actually, you know what? Before I go on that, I saw Mark put a comment here that I want us to go into. He's like, I'm interested in your take on why Kamala lost. Do you blame the idiot, racist, trash population? Is it Biden's fault? Was Kamala's candidacy too centrist? What? All right, so that's a very good question, and I like to get. Oh, go ahead, Mark, John.
We're gonna get into it, but no, yes.
Is
the quick answers to those questions.
Okay, so the first question where he says, do you blame the idiot, racist, trash population? So it's no and yes for me, and now I'll explain why. So for the people who voted for Trump, there's the yes. Okay, yes, absolutely, I blame them, right? But for the non-voters, I've seen, and I haven't gotten you guys to take on this, but I've done a lot of this. So if I differ from Liz and John, I apologize in advance. Well, not really apologize, but I have grown quite tired of all of these videos and speeches that I've seen from people who spend 3 minutes blaming the non-voters. So for those who don't know, the people, like the difference between Kamala's votes and Biden's vote, there's like 15 million people, something like that. And maybe it'll be a little bit lower by now, maybe 12, 13, but over 10 million more people voted for Biden than for Kamala. And so they'll say, all right, well, it's their fault we lost. The voters are just, too bad. Okay, great. Now what? Because that's not a solution. Like, what I want to know is, are we interested in complaining or are we interested in solving the problem? Because when you're a politician or a political movement like us, your job is to sell your vision. Yeah, this is my vision for how the country and how life can be better for the people. And if customers don't buy into your product, you can't go to your evaluation and say, well, I guess the customers were just bad. It's their fault I didn't succeed, not mine. Okay, maybe the customers are bad. Maybe the customers are stupid. Maybe the customers are immoral. Maybe the customers are literal demons from hell. Good to know. Next quarter, you're going to have to go out there and sell to those same customers. What is your plan to bring them back? That's what the conversation is. A lot of folks are focusing on the first step that, oh, these are bad voters. Good. What is step two? Not interested in step one. I am tired of hearing about step one. What is your plan to get those voters to vote for you? Because if you're just going to resign yourself into saying that, well, these voters are just shitty and, there's nothing we could do. All right, then go home, pack it up, quit, move, because that's what you're saying. And I'm tired of it. I just want actual solutions and not just complaining. Well, I'll go to Liz first. What do you think?
I think the unfortunate result of that is the lesson that's going to be learned is move further to the right to try and get votes from a voter bloc that is consistent.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I can see where you're coming from. It is their job to appeal to people, to energize people, to get people out to vote. But Republicans pretty consistently do vote. And yes, Trump did get less votes overall, less people voted this time around. But still. So I don't think the Democrats are going to learn any lessons. I think the lesson that they keep learning is the right votes. So shift further right. So, my hope is that we can get a strong progressive candidate that people can get excited about, they can rally around, especially if we start now, the next presidential election 4 years from now. But there are local elections usually in most states that happen every single year. So, I don't know. I think that I'm not super optimistic in this moment, but I also, it's just been 2 days, so I think that there's a lot that can be done. And my hope is that the fear turns into motivation for a lot of people. So we'll see.
So Liz, you said something there that is historically true. And however, I have optimism that it might not be true this time. And that's that the lesson that they're going to take from this is that they need to move more to the center. Kind of what I said about the alternate independent media ecosystem they need to build, where I'm seeing it out from like the people the Democratic Party fucking actually cares about right now. And I'm seeing this take too, not just from our side of the world, but from like normal centrists going, hey guys, we didn't lose because Donald Trump won more votes than he did. We lost because Democrats didn't show up. And not only that, but we saw repeatedly, even in red states, populist left-wing economic policies pass ballot initiatives where Kamala Harris lost. And I think there is enough evidence, like sheer objective evidence, to say, hey guys, John Cooper was right for the past fucking year. You don't win an election by trying to go after competitors. And this is just, I work in marketing, right? And I've been saying this for fucking ever. You don't, like, if you have a marketing scheme where there's a bunch of green space, 30% of the population doesn't participate in this product at all. They aren't your competitor. They aren't purchasing your competitor's product. If you're spending your fucking marketing dollars going after your competitors' fucking buyers, you're an idiot. You are dumb. It is so much harder to get someone to switch off of your competitor than to get someone who's already familiar with you to buy your product again. And consistently, time and time again in the past 3 elections, we have seen the Democrats, the fucking Chuck Schumer quote, for every blue collar worker in Pennsylvania we lose, we're going to gain 2 Republican moderates in the suburbs. And they learned the long fucking lessons from 2020, and they tried it again, and it didn't work, because you need to fire up your base and get them to go out and vote, especially if the Democrats, who literally Trump hasn't passed that ceiling at all. He lost votes this time too. He has a ceiling, and if you fire up your base to go out there and win, you will win. We did not reject leadership from after 2016. Pelosi's still around, Schumer's still around, Biden's obviously still around, but they are all way too fucking old to still be here in 4 years. Like, I maybe Schumer's going to be here in 4 years, but Biden and Pelosi can't possibly be. And I mean that like in a very literal sense. But they have to be gone, and something is going to change. Like, we are going to see different leadership. It's going to happen, and it's incredibly important, especially for us, to be pushing them in the right direction very loudly and very clearly, that we didn't lose this election because we weren't centrist enough. They fucking tried it, and it lost miserably. And it lost because Democrats didn't show up. That's it. It's pretty simple.
So, John,
so solution.
Oh, go ahead, Liz. No, please.
So the solution is not go more right.
Yeah.
The right.
Will they? They very well might, Liz. They're
well
clearly
might,
idiots. But yeah, I don't. And by the way, the people who keep telling me, "Oh, so you know more than the fucking people running the campaign who have been saying that to me for the past like several months," go fuck yourself. Like, these are the same goddamn people who are like, "Let's keep the corpse of Joe Biden in." These are the people, like, they caused this. The next 4 years are because of the fucking Democratic Party and the goddamn idiots running their messaging. That's it. Everything that happens over the next 4 years, that is who I blame most. I don't blame Trump. I don't blame Republicans, because they did what they're fucking supposed to. The Democrats didn't. And that is who I put the fucking blame on.
So I'm so glad you mentioned the going after, because I wrote down a whole bunch of things I wanted to cover. I was about to hop on the 2012 thing, because for those of you who remember, in 2008 and 2012, it was kind of accepted knowledge that the Republican Party was fucking dead, that the Republican Party had reached this level where the Obama massacred John McCain. And then in 2012, the Republicans it was the reverse of this last election, because the Republicans were supremely confident that they were going to beat Barack Obama with Mitt Romney. They all thought they were going to win. Didn't happen. And they actually made an official statement: we're doing a Republican Party autopsy to go over what happened and see what we could change. That's exactly what's happening right now. So, like John said, there have been all these points in time. If you live long enough, you see enough of them where you'll see parties says it's over, it's done, there's nowhere we can go from here. I don't believe that. If I did, then I wouldn't be here, right? That's how I see it, that I would just quit. I'd be done. It's like, hey, pack it up. It's all over. But I'm so glad you brought up the reaching out to the moderators. I can't believe I didn't write that down, because I don't know about you, Liz, but John and I have been gnawing on this bone for months. Look, with the margins that Harris lost by, I'm not convinced anything could have been done to salvage this. I really, looking back on this now, that it's not close. I mean, like, she won New Jersey by 5 points, man. 5 points, New Jersey. So I just don't think there was ever going to be enough support for Harris to win. I don't think she reached out to the base. She would have won. I don't think picking a different VP would have gotten her a win. I don't think calling for an arms embargo would have. I don't think if Joe Biden stayed in, he would have won. I think that the problems were more deeply entrenched. I think that, people tied inflation, however you want to see it or whatever, directly to Biden, and that with the truncated campaign, of course, with Harris, nothing could have happened. Like, if Biden had decided not to run 2 years ago and they had a whole primary, could have been an entirely different story. But based on the facts as they happen, I just don't think it could have worked. But one thing that I know damn sure did not help is bragging about the Cheney family endorsing your candidacy. And when I'm sure you guys saw the chart where it said in 2020, 96% of Republicans voted for Republicans and 4% voted for Democrats. This election, it went all the way to 5%. We gained 1% of Republican votes. Like, all that time, wasting the time, energy, money. Oh, John's got it here. Yeah, 94-6 to 94-5. Wow, so it went down.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
my
they
God.
lost.
I thought it's even worse. They lost. Yeah. So look, everyone who was telling us that actually it's a really good idea that we put Dick Cheney out there. And once again, you can't control whether or not Dick Cheney endorses you. You don't got to brag about it. You don't got to be up there saying, hey, isn't this fantastic that we got the Cheney family with us? I just a comically awful self-own that didn't need to happen. But yeah, hopefully we do learn that lesson that if Republican voters aren't going to vote for Democrats, they're not going to do it. No matter how much, the Lincoln Project, I can't even be mad at them fleecing the fucking Democrats for all that money for 4 years and everything. I can't blame them at all.
Here's the thing, TJ. If you are going to win over Republicans, you do that in between elections. I tweeted this out, and by tweeted I mean Threads did, but we don't have a good word for that. That it's kind of weird how much money political parties and politicians spend on ads, on everything in the election season, because that is the time when people are most inundated with all of this political information. They're the least susceptible to it because of that, and everyone is putting their messaging out, but they're not going to be convinced to vote differently in a couple of weeks or months. That's just not how the human brain works. And you need to be doing that work to change minds during the term. That's when you have a chance to message to people and be like, hey, look at all these things we're doing. Look at the effects. This is how it's going to change your life. This is why you're going to want to vote for us in the next 3, 2, 1 year. It's a waste of fucking money to spend all of this during the 6 months before the election. You got to be putting out that. And by the way, they really sucked at it too. It's not even like that. We'll get to the specific messaging too, but like to just finish out this point, like if you want to change minds, that's great. You don't do it during election season. I don't know anyone who's ever changed their fucking vote. Like undecided voters don't actually exist.
Nope.
We've been screaming this for years.
We've been saying this for a long time.
Don't exist. Like they're at least in large enough numbers to matter.
And if they did exist, why would you want to hear from them? Like they're the last people that I want to hear about. People's like, I don't know if I'm going to vote or not. Okay, I'm not interested in what you have to say. I'm going to mobilize people who actually want to vote. Those are the ones who I want to talk to.
Thank you. You have made it to the end of this episode. We thank you very, very much. And if you donated any money to those loser fucking Democrats, well, you know a better place to put it. Give it to people like us. We're totally unbiased in saying that is the way we are going to win in 2028. Anyway, we always have wonderful guests on this show. Liz has been a repeat guest. She has told you guys where to find her before, but if you haven't watched those episodes, Liz, where can people find you?
You can find me on all the platforms at Allboutliz. That's ALLBOUTLIZ. Not Allboutliz. That's my favorite tag from the gaming days.
Love it so much. Thank you, folks. We really appreciate Liz. Really appreciate all you guys watching. And like John said, I mean, Mark Cuban, George Soros, DCCC, anybody. So send the cash our way. We will make better use of it than anyone else you did in the past. And we'll see what we can do. Catch you guys later.